All right, we're back, and hopefully this week we are going to discover what becomes of young Master Treehorn. Let's just see if we can get in it. Perfect. Let's pick up where we left off. The next morning, Treehorn was so small he had to jump out of bed. On the floor under the bed was a game he'd pushed under there and forgotten about. He walked under the bed to take a look at it. It was one of the games he'd sent in for from a cereal box. He had started playing it a couple of days ago, but he hadn't had a chance to finish it because his mother had called him to come right downstairs that minute and have his breakfast or he'd be late for school. Treehorn looked at the cover of the box. The big game for kids to grow on. It's tremendous, it's different, it's fun, it's easy, it's colossal. Play it with friends, play it alone, complete with spinner, board, pieces and complete instructions. The game was called The Big Game for Kids to Grow On. Treehorn sat under the bed to finish playing the game. He always liked to finish things, even if they were boring. Even if he was watching a boring programme on TV, he always watched it right to the end. Games were the same way. He finished this one now. Where had he left off? He remembered he just had to move his piece back 7 spaces on the board when his mother had called him. He was so small now that the only way he could move the spinner was by kicking it, so he kicked it. It stopped at number 4. That meant he could move his piece ahead 4 spaces on the board. The only way he could move the piece forward now was by carrying it, so he carried it. It was pretty heavy. He walked along the board to the 4th space. It says, "Congratulations, and up you go. Advance 13 spaces." Treehorn started to carry his piece forward the 13 spaces, but the piece seemed to be getting smaller, or else he was getting bigger. That was it. He was getting bigger, because the bottom of the bed was getting close to his head. He pulled the game out from under the bed to finish playing it. He kept moving the piece forward, but he didn't have to carry it any longer. In fact, he seemed to be getting bigger and bigger with each space he landed in. "Oh, I don't want to get too big," thought Treehorn, so he moved the piece ahead slowly from one space to the next, getting bigger with each space until he was his own regular size again. Then he put the spinner and the pieces in the instructions and the board back into the box for now, and put it in his closet. If he ever wanted to get bigger or smaller, he could play it again, even if it was a pretty boring game. Treehorn went down for breakfast and started to read the new cereal box. It said you could send for 100 balloons. His mother was cleaning the living room. She came into the kitchen to get a dust rag. "Don't put your elbows on the table while you're eating, dear," she said. "Look," said Treehorn, "I'm my own size now. My own regular size." "Oh, that's nice, dear," said Treehorn's mother. "It's a very nice size, I'm sure, and if I were you, I wouldn't shrink any more. Be sure to tell your father when he comes home tonight. He'll be so pleased." She went back to the living room and started to dust and vacuum. That night, Treehorn was watching TV. As he reached over to change channels, he noticed that his hand was bright green. He looked in the mirror that was hanging over the television set. His face was green. His ears were green. His hair was green. He was green all over. Treehorn sighed. "I don't think I'll tell anyone," he thought to himself. "If I don't say anything, they won't notice." Treehorn's mother came in. "Do turn the volume down a little, dear," she said. "Your father and I are having the Smedleys over to play bridge. Do comb your hair before they come, won't you, dear?" said his mother as she walked back to the kitchen. She didn't notice that he was turning green. How is Treehorn going to get out of this one? You know what I like about Treehorn? He seems like a resilient boy. He asked for help. No one could help him. So he didn't give up. He just, sometimes when things get tough, you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, take it one day at a time. And Treehorn did that. And eventually he found the key to making himself better. So well done, Treehorn. I enjoyed that. Right. Let's see if there's one more in here for today. Oh, the places you'll go. Back to Dr. Seuss again. This is a great one. Speaking of resilience, I wonder if this has got any tips about resilience. It's all about life's journey, the walk of life. Let's see what it means according to Dr. Seuss. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look 'em over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there, in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along, you'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up, you'll be seeing great sights, you'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed, you'll pass the whole gang and soon you'll take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be one of the best. Wherever you go, you'll top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're dark. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? How do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right 3/4, or maybe not quite, or go round back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you will find, for a mind-maker-upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you're starting to race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, towards a most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or a no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone's just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone's just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing, with banner flip-flapping once more. You'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There's fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame! You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win, because you'll play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much that you won't want to go on. But on you'll go, though the weather will be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, though the hacken cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Ali Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Oh, the places you'll go. So, where are you now? Are you in the waiting place? Are you on your way up? Are you on your way down? Are you playing with the boom bands? You might find yourselves in all these places as you go through life. But, just like Treehorn, just like this book tells you, keep going, make decisions, be true to yourself, and you'll end up a great success. Thank you, Dr. Seuss.